Thank you for joining us today. I'm Tracy Liu, VP of Channel Sales with ClearlyIP, and today I'll be giving you an overview of ComXchange, the telecom solution for hospitality. In the second half of our presentation, we will have Eduardo Abad joining us for a live demo of the ComXchange interface. And I also have Lynn Blair with us, who will be helping out with Q&A. She is one of our hospitality experts. Before we begin, I just want to remind everyone that you're muted. But if you have questions, please type them into the Q&A chat, and we will get your questions answered at the end of the presentation. We're also recording this webinar, and it will be posted to our website and YouTube channel. So let's get started. So today, I'll be giving you a quick intro into ClearlyIP, then we'll jump into ComXchange, where we'll discuss features and benefits, PMS integration, and deployment options. Then we'll go over hardware and phones for ComXchange, as well as some other products to enhance your ComXchange solution. After that, Eduardo will give us a live demo of the user interface, and we'll wrap up with Q&A. So for those of you that don't know who ClearlyIP is, we are a VoIP organization and team of experts that was founded in 2019. Our founders are the original founders and innovators behind FreePBX, which is one of the largest telecom applications in the world. About 85% of our staff is engineering, and our passion is building quality VoIP products, which we've been doing since 2010. We're leaders in telephony, and we are laser focused on delivering cutting-edge solutions that are secure, collaborative, and productive. We're also a growth company, so we're always improving our product set and partner program, and always looking at intelligent acquisitions to bring more capabilities. What gives us an advantage over the many VoIP companies out there is our legacy of innovation, reliability, and market expertise. We have corporate offices in Appleton, Wisconsin, and Montreal, Canada, as well as a team of global telecom experts located all over the world, including Australia, Colombia, Ecuador, and Argentina. Here's our history. We were founded in 2019, and since then, we've grown quite a bit and acquired a number of companies. The one that I want to highlight is 360 Networks, which was founded in 2014. This is where we got the ComXchange platform, which we'll be focusing on today. So ComXchange has been around for over 10 years and is very well established in the hospitality industry. This is the entire ClearlyIP product set. Our flagship product is Clearly Cloud, which is a distributed multi-tenant PBX and UCaaS platform. We also manufacture our own IP desk phones and gateways to go with our platforms like ComXchange and others. This really gives us an advantage. ClearlyIP phones and gateways are built really well. We sell them at great prices exclusively through our partners, so you won't find them flooded on CDW or Amazon. Clearly Anywhere is a mobile application and soft phone that runs on top of ComXchange, Clearly Cloud, and some FreePBX platforms. Cloud Device Manager is our cloud provisioning solution. We support over 300 different models of phones and paging systems. It works with ComXchange and Clearly Cloud, but also runs independently. ComXchange is our hospitality suite system, which we'll be focusing on today. SIP trunking is how we got started back in the day. It's a very high quality, reliable SIP trunking platform that can be used with ComXchange. Codex is an emergency alert system for hotels and other places that have an extra security need, and we're now including it with ComXchange at no additional cost. Panic Button allows you to push a button that's connected to your phone. Nothing changes on the phone, but pages do go out into the world and the mic gets turned on so people can listen in and deliver valuable information during an emergency situation. And SendFax2 is our electronic faxing solution that I will also touch on later today. So today we're going to deep dive into ComXchange, which is a hospitality-specific PBX that's designed to meet the needs of the hotel industry. It's reliable, it's adaptable, and it's a great solution for hotels that are looking to enhance their guest experience, ensure safety, and streamline operations. Currently, we have everything from small boutique hotels to resort properties with thousands of rooms, all being served on the ComXchange platform. We're in every single one of these hotel chains that you see here, including some of the largest brands across the country. We have over 2,000 hotels across the country serving over 400,000 rooms. ComXchange checks every box from emergency notifications to call accounting. And today we're going to explore the features that make ComXchange a top choice for hotels and integrators. And we'll review what's in the simplified licensing model, discuss the integration with PMS, and go over all the benefits of the different cloud, prem, and hybrid deployment options. And we're also going to go over how ComXchange is compliant with 911, emergency notification, and dispatch protocols. And then we'll show you that simple and intuitive management interface that's designed for ease of use. So let's start with the simplified licensing for ComXchange. As you can see here on the left, we have over 150 different base phone system features. And these have all been enhanced for hospitality, and they're all included with each user license. It includes features like call queues, wake-up calls, and staff and guest voicemails, where guest voicemails are automatically deleted when they check out. There's also dual, triple, and multi-brand support, where we can have 2 to 3 different hotel brands on the same property and phone system. And we can route calls to different front desks and even talk to different PMS or accounting systems. We've also added features like our hotel dashboard for when the PMS system goes down. The only add-on licensing for each user are call accounting, soft phones, and advanced queue reporting. So we're going to go into some of those enhancements later in the presentation. ComXchange integrates with the majority of the hotel PMS systems on the market. We can connect with these PMS systems through an IP address or a serial port. Here's a list of all the PMS providers that we integrate with, and we can also integrate with Tiger TMS and Control, which are both hospitality integration companies. They offer hundreds of hospitality applications and integrations with different hotel PMS systems. So any product they can interface with, we should also be able to interface with. And our support team is available to help you with your PMS integration and ensure that it's working properly. 911 compliance and emergency protocols are top priorities for hotels these days. Everyone's trying to ensure their guest safety and avoid fees and lawsuits, right? So ComXchange is compliant with Carey's Law, which is it requires the ability to dial 911 without dialing a 9 first. And that's actually a law that was written specifically for hotels after, it was named after Carey Hunt, who died after her daughter's multiple calls to 911 failed because the motel's phone system required dialing a 9 to reach the outside line. Not only is ComXchange compliant with Carey's Law, we have mass alert settings. So when someone dials 911 or presses a panic button, we can trigger multiple notifications to the front desk, a paging group, or paging system. We can also send texts, emails, and make phone calls until someone answers, so the proper personnel can respond in an emergency situation. ComXchange is also compliant with RABOMS Act, which requires that first responders have the necessary information needed to pinpoint the dispatchable location to quickly reach a 911 caller. If you're using ClearlyIP SIP trunks, you can program a dispatchable location for each phone right in the ComXchange interface, and there's no need for each phone to have a DID. Another huge benefit is we just added the Codex solution for emergency notifications at no cost, and it's built right into the ComXchange interface now. So we'll dive into that a little bit more when we talk about enhancements. With ComXchange, we've developed some hotel specialized apps that can be added to your IP phone at the front desk, such as the Guest Wake Up app and the Guest Management app. While you can manage these features from the management portal, it's also great for the front desk to be able to manage guest room numbers or schedule wake-up calls, even when the PMS system goes down. These hotel apps can run on ClearlyIP phones, as well as phones like Yealink or Snom. We have a full text messaging and SMS system integrated with ComXchange. In order to use SMS, you must use ClearlyIP trunking with an SMS-enabled number. You'll have to set up campaigns with a mobile carrier and have a process for allowing customers to opt in and out. There are 2 ways to send and receive texts: through the user control panel, which has a chat room interface, or through the Clearly Anywhere mobile app, which I'll show you in a minute. Most customers prefer to use Clearly Anywhere. SMS is a great tool for the front desk or concierge to communicate with guests. They can help them schedule appointments or communicate when a room is ready. And it's also a convenient way for guests to ask for room service needs like more towels or toilet paper. Guests love this feature, and it really improves the guest experience. In the event that the PMS system goes down, ComXchange offers a hotel dashboard that allows the front desk to manage guest check-ins and see room availability. Eduardo will be showing you more of this interface during the live demo. Software assurance comes included with hosted ComXchange. But for on-premise customers, investing in yearly software assurance for your ComXchange system guarantees that you'll get the latest software updates and have access to our technical support team for all of your covered systems. So these updates introduce new features, they enhance usability, and even if you don't plan on using specific new features, staying up to date with your software ensures that you receive support when you need it, but also it includes critical security and stability improvements. So we include software upgrades, updates, and patches, as well as protection from glitches and bugs. And you also have access to our tech support 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, for deployment, migration, and troubleshooting questions. And we have emergency support 24/7, 365 days a year if you're having an outage. You can also save time and ensure accuracy of your billing with annual updates of the call accounting rate tables. So whether it's hosted or on-prem ComXchange, you get peace of mind that your PBX will grow with you and you'll be future-proofing your investment as the industries evolve. For our resellers, we offer tons of sales, technical, and marketing resources, including detailed documentation and one-on-one training to help you sell, install, and support ComXchange. We provide pre-sale support like customer consultation calls and tailored product demos to help you close deals more effectively. And we offer post-installation support that gives you access to our technical team. We have an amazing team of quality technicians and account managers that are experts in ComXchange and ready to jump in. Now, let's talk about all the different deployment options. ComXchange can be deployed on-premise, it can be hosted in the cloud, or you can have a hybrid deployment. I'll take you through the benefits of each option in the next few slides. With an on-premise deployment of ComXchange, a hotel will purchase a one-time user license for each extension and a ComXchange controller that's physically installed and maintained on-site at the hotel. Having the hardware on-site gives customers full control over their communications infrastructure. You can manage software updates and hardware upgrades on your own schedule, and all that data is locally stored, which allows for stringent data protection. Customers can also avoid potential downtime caused by internet outages. With on-prem ComXchange, you can integrate with ClearlyIP SIP trunking or a SIP provider of your choice for making and receiving calls over the internet. We can also fail over to traditional phone lines or integrate with a T1 PRI. And we can integrate with your existing guest room analog phones. So you can leverage new low-cost IP technology without having to overhaul your existing infrastructure. An on-premise deployment is great for customers that prefer to have a capital expense. You have a higher one-time upfront cost, but the first year of software insurance is included and you can purchase multiple years with a discount. Next is hosted. With hosted ComXchange, the PBX is hosted in the cloud and managed entirely by ClearlyIP. This eliminates the need for an on-site controller and reduces maintenance responsibilities. While ComXchange was mostly deployed on-premise in the past, there's been a recent shift to cloud in the last few years. Hotels are looking for a more modern, flexible solution that scales easily. With the hosted model, everything, including the software assurance, is wrapped into a monthly user subscription. So whether you're adding new users or expanding to new locations, the hosted system can grow without the need to invest in additional hardware. Hosted ComXchange supports remote management, which ensures seamless guest service even when staff is off-site. It also includes robust security features like encryption and regular audits. We handle the updates, maintenance, and support so that hotels can focus on their core operations without needing in-house IT resources. Bundling with ClearlyIP SIP trunking or other carriers offers hotels lower upfront costs, and the hosted model shifts their expenses to operational instead of capital. The hybrid deployment offers best of both worlds. It combines the reliability of and control of on-premise with the flexibility and scalability of hosted. In a hybrid deployment, you have front desk and office phones connected to ComXchange hosted in the cloud. And then you can have the local controller on site for redundancy that maintains the guest room phones and PMS connectivity. This ensures continuous operation even if the internet or cloud system goes down. If the internet goes down, guest calls within this hotel can still go through and you can fail over to another SIP provider or analog lines. This hybrid setup provides hotels with on-site dependability and redundancy while also having the scalability and flexibility of hosted. Now let's talk hardware. For on-prem and hybrid models, ClearlyIP manufactures powerful 1U rack-mountable controllers that ComXchange runs on. We have several models that scale up to 3,000 extensions, and they're sized to be as economical as possible. We use best-in-class hardware with quad-core processors, solid-state drives, and gigabit network ports. Each controller, like all of our hardware, comes with a 2-year warranty out of the box with an option to increase it to 5 years. So part of deploying to a hotel involves managing a high volume of phones. A lot of times, analog phones are still in the hotel rooms. To integrate with these legacy phones, ClearlyIP manufactures our own FXS gateways that scale anywhere from 2 to 96 ports. These gateways allow the analog phones to talk SIP, so they can be supported with ComXchange. ComXchange is carrier agnostic, which allows for multiple carrier options, including a native SIP trunk, T1 PRI, or an FXO analog line connection with the use of a gateway. Here is ClearlyIP's full line of analog and PRI gateways. We have both purchase and rental options available. On the left are our ComXchange gateways. We have 24 port, 48, 72, and 96 port modular FXS gateways, as well as smaller 8-port gateways. The benefit of our ComXchange branded gateways is they can be auto-provisioned with our provisioning tool directly through the ComXchange web GUI. On the right, we have 24 and 48 port non-modular FXS gateways and a 2-port T1 PRI gateway. All of our gateways work seamlessly with ComXchange and come with a 2-year warranty. For the front desk and back office, hotels are installing SIP-based phones. Since ComXchange is a SIP-based phone system, we can accommodate all major brands of SIP phones, but we have the tightest integration with our own ClearlyIP phones. We also support existing IP phones like Yealink, Snom, Polycom, Astra. Here is our line of IP desk phones that are tightly integrated with ComXchange. Again, we have both purchase and rental options. Our desk phones all come with dual gigabit ports. They have color screens, they're sleek, they look great, and they're plug and play with zero touch provisioning, so you don't have to take the phone out of the box to configure it. We have everything from a basic phone, the 230 on the very right, to our most popular phones for front desk and general office use, the 250 and 270. All of the phones from the 270 and up are Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled. And then we have the 280, 290, and 291, which are Android-powered smartphones for managers and executives. We also make an expansion set, which integrates with the 270, 280, and 290 phones. And we have accessories like our USB panic button for discrete emergency notifications, a USB camera, an EHS adapter for headsets, and that Wi-Fi Bluetooth dongle for the 230 and 250. Other features that ClearlyIP phones come with are HD voice support, 5-way conferencing, and a built-in VPN client. Like the rest of our hardware, our phones come with a 2-year warranty rather than the standard 1-year warranty, and you can extend it to 5 years. Again, these phones are tightly integrated with ComXchange, and we sell these phones directly to our partners at great prices with good margins. We even have a phone rental program with branding available, so you can put your logo or your hotel's logo on the front of the phone. Okay, now we're going to get into some products that will enhance your ComXchange solution. Clearly Anywhere is a mobile app and desktop soft phone. It's great for any manager or employee that wants to be reachable, but still needs to move around about the property to communicate. Their mobile app becomes their mobile desk phone in terms of calling, and they receive voicemails and dial other users internally, as well as dialing externally as if they're calling from the property on site. Versus if it's a desk phone at the property that's just forwarded to your cell phone. You can't receive your voicemails as easily, and you can't dial users internally or dial externally or access SMS chat. Dial externally as if you were on site. With Clearly Anywhere, your extension is everywhere you need it to be, and it's easily configured using a QR code. It can also be installed on a smartphone, a tablet, or a laptop, and it has a dial pad and all of the standard features and buttons you'd have on your physical desk phones that allow you to transfer, hold, conference, mute, and more. If you have other employees in your quick dials, you can easily see if they're on a call or not. and you have a chat interface with SMS. You only need to purchase a Clearly Anywhere license for each mobile app user, and it's a wonderful enhancement to ComXchange and your hotel communication system. Another great enhancement to ComXchange is Codex, which is now included at no additional cost. It's a solution designed for hotels that need a way to mark areas or rooms as safe or unsafe during an emergency and see the real-time status of who has checked in or not checked in. Codex is an ingenious system. Think code red, code yellow, code green. It allows you to pre-record messages that can be sent out over the paging system based on those codes or conditions and send out mass alerts and notifications. On top of that, there's a dashboard of all the rooms and zones within the property or hotel where users can call in and report their status and if they're safe. You can also have camera systems deployed where you can see into each zone, like the swimming pool or dining area, and you can see if it's safe even if nobody called in. Eduardo is going to be showing us a little more of this system during the live demo portion. ComXQ Metrics is an advanced call center platform that can be added to ComXchange. It has unlimited queues and campaigns and the ability to track, measure, and report on over 200 call center metrics like call volume, hold time, and reservation booking stats. It also has call monitoring and call recording, so you can listen to live and recorded calls for training. And you can manage your reservation center with customizable wallboards and alarms. ComXchange Call Accounting is an add-on license per extension that gives hotels the ability to track and manage office and guest room telecom expenses. It has a separate GUI that has real-time monitoring, reporting, and integration with ComXchange. Hotel operators can analyze usage patterns. They can identify cost-saving opportunities and ensure that the billing is accurate. All of the telecom expenses go directly on the customer folio with long distance and international rates applied automatically. ClearlyIP SIP trunks are a fantastic addition to ComXchange. They're a low-cost alternative to expensive analog lines or T1 PRI connections. Our SIP trunks are resilient, high quality, and fully geo-redundant. We support everything you would expect: local, toll-free, international, SMS, and advanced E911 integration. We have both metered and subscription call paths. With metered, you might have hundreds of call paths, but you're only paying for usage by the minute. With subscription call paths, you pay for the number of concurrent call paths you need, and you get 3,000 pooled minutes for each path. You can also mix and match metered and call path trunks to save money. For ComXchange, we have integration with our SIP trunks directly in the admin interface, making it very easy to configure. And we have a self-service portal where you can order SIP trunks, choose your DIDs, and be up and running with the SIP trunk within minutes. For hotels that need to do faxing, we have a virtual fax solution called SendFax2. You can send a fax from virtually anywhere on any device. We can do fax to email, email to fax, so it's both inbound and outbound, fax to analog, and fax to print. You can fax from a mobile phone or even a multifunction printer. It's easy to set up and highly reliable. You get reports that tell you when the fax goes through successfully. We have two different types of fax subscriptions, high volume and low volume. And you only need a fax subscription for each concurrent fax call path. So that way you're not paying for each page, user, or group. For hotels that want to use their physical fax machines, they can continue to do that. We help them eliminate the expensive copper lines using our small fax device, which supports up to 2 fax machines. And finally, we have our ClearlyIP VoIP failover gateway, which is a Swiss Army knife of gateways. 2 main applications are using it as a failover solution and POTS line replacement. Hosted PBX is great, but you are reliant on your internet connection. So if you've hosted ComXchange, which relies on the internet, the ClearlyIP failover gateway allows you to maintain calling for your customers in the event of an internet outage. If the internet goes out, it establishes a separate SIP trunk over 4G to provide connectivity. The phones will have a secondary registration to the failover gateway should the first registration fail. So this protects your voice operations during an internet outage, and it reduces the overall risk with having a cloud solution. Another really useful application for the VoIP failover gateway is as a POTS replacement solution. Many hotels are still paying for expensive copper analog lines so that they can maintain analog devices such as fire alarms, elevators, and security panels. Hotels can save money by replacing their current analog lines with SIP. And if anything happens to the internet, the SIP trunk fails over to 4G to maintain a secure and redundant path. So they can transition from expensive copper lines without sacrificing reliability. It's a low-cost solution with powerful features that works great with ComXchange. Okay, now we've gotten to the live demo portion. ComXchange has a really nice, modern, and intuitive web GUI, and I'm going to turn it over to Eduardo so you can see it in action.
Thank you, Tracy. Hi, everyone. I'm starting my screen now. Okay, let me close here. So this is as soon as you log into ComXchange web interface, you will see this page with some dashboards information. And first off, we want to make clear that ComXchange is not only the hospitality portion of the system, but it also brings together the PBX, of course. So you have your PBX functionality, all of the features that you will expect from a major PBX solution: time conditions, time groups, manage caller IDs, pin sets, class of service for permissions for dialing out from certain extensions, IVR or auto attendance, parking, lots, queues, ring routes, inbound routes and outbound routes, and many more, like you can see here in the top menus. And now we're going to focus mainly in the guest management aspect of the ComXchange interface. So if you see here at the top, there's guest management, and you have general settings, guest extensions, guest speed dials, interfaces, and wake-up calls. One thing to note here is that guest extensions are not managed in a different place than the normal PBX or admin extensions, which are these ones. I'm going to quickly open here just an example. This system, we have 12 extensions with names or places where the phone belongs to, like the kitchen, the restaurant, or the front desk, staff manager, general manager, and such. These are the admin or staff extensions. The guest extensions are rather here in this other section of the interface. I'm going to click and open it. And here I have all my extensions created already here. I have 20 total. If you see here, let me only show 10. So these are extensions, and the room number and the name and the status. You can quickly check if the room is checked in or checked out, if they have do not disturb available or not, and the class of service or the permissions for their calls. Normally, by default, when the extension is not checked in, then that phone in that room can only make emergency calls or perhaps calls to the front desk or the admin staff, but not PSTN calls. Those are available as soon as the room is checked in. All this can be managed, but that's the default behavior. And for example, in the next page, so we have here in this example extensions 101 to 110. Let's say it's a hotel with 10 rooms per floor. Let's say this is the first floor, second floor, 201 up to 210. To add extensions is very easily. You click here, add guest extensions, and you do it by range. So let's say we have to add the third floor, 301 up to 310. You can leave this parameter empty, room number start, because it will automatically take the number from the extension. But let's say if you rather in a hotel, they want the extensions to begin with a 1, let's say 1301 to 1310. But the room number itself starts with 301. You can do that as well, for example. This example, I'm just going to use the same extension number as the same room number. Ring duration, enable voicemail, yes or no. PMS interface, by default, you only have one PMS interface, but you could have multiple here. If, for example, in a complex, there are multiple hotels, and you can have the same system interconnect with different PMS systems. And here you define this extension to which hotel or which PMS it will belong to. You can add caller ID options, emergency caller ID options automatically, increment automatically by 1 the caller ID, for example, for the outbound PSTN calls and such. I'm going to submit, and now with that, I have quickly created, if I go back here to guest extensions, I have quickly and easily created the extensions for the third floor. If I go to page 3 here, I now see extensions 301 up to 310. No name because no one has checked in and it's empty everything. Okay, to delete these extensions is just as easy by ranges. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those that I just created, 301 through 310, submit, and I no longer have the third floor of extensions created in this example. Okay, so that was guest extensions. We also have guest speed dials. So normally in hotel rooms, the phone is very basic. Perhaps there are no speed dial buttons. So basically you can, for example, let's say press 0 for the front desk or 9 for the front desk. So you can put here front desk as the name and the speed dial code 0 and the destination, the extension number of the front desk. Let's say it's 2000 in this example. And basically every hotel room phone by pressing 0 will dial the front desk, which is extension 2000. And you can create more of this for the restaurant, for any other destination inside the hotel. Those are the speed dials. Interfaces, as we saw before, when you create the extension, you select a PMS interface, but we have by default two interfaces: PMS, connection with the PMS, and SMDR, connection with the call accounting. Call accounting solution is installed already in this system, and it's licensed, as Tracy mentioned. So you need license to be able to use it, but it's very competitive pricing. So those are the two interfaces that come by default here. PMS, the connection with PMS. I'm going to edit here to show a little bit the interface. So you give it a name, enable yes or no, emulation. So there are many hotels, a lot of them that already have ComXchange as their PBX, but if not, you could use emulation, other options like here, Encore, FOSS, all of this that you see here, Tiger TMS. And then you have the protocol settings that you can define here. Below at the end, you have IP settings. If it's an IP interface, or perhaps it's a serial port interface, then you click no here in IP settings, and these parameters for the serial port connection will show up here. So you have those two types of interface. There could be serial or IP. And you have many other options, as you can see here, to configure. Well, you can configure them for you when installing. And here is the default behavior when you check in. Here, default check-in or check-out, class of service. Those class of services are managed here, actually in core configuration class of service. You can go in there. I'm going to open quickly here. And these are the default created ones. And basically here you define what destinations these extensions can dial. For example, when it's restricted, in this example, guest restricted is when there's no one in the room, it's not checking, then you cannot dial. You, in this example, can only dial emergency, not even the front desk or admin, but you can change that behavior. Guest extensions, you cannot dial them out either. Only emergency calls, not outbound calls, or not any other outbound calls. So you can see that's where you define those behaviors. But here is the default the default class of services that will get applied depending on the situation: checked in, checked out, and such. And well, you can manage start or stop the interface or request a resync of the interface. Have some language mapping and some logs as well. Okay. Now, wake-up calls. This is for managing the settings for wake-up calls. You can have how long it will ring, how many attempts, and how long to wait for a next attempt if you have more than one attempt defined here. And allow or not snooze, allow or not reoccurring wake-up calls. What to do if the wake-up call is not answered by the guest. You can enable or disable this. Perhaps notify this to the admin, to the front desk, and even send an email address. So you can call and it will say an audio prompt. The wake-up call for room number 106 was not answered. Press 1 if you acknowledge this, and then the front desk manager or the person can initiate another wake-up call or take action. And you have timers here as well for the wake-up failure call notification settings. And you have also some logs here that you can check. So those are mainly the guest management options. Okay. Now, in reports, you can see a couple of other interesting things that we're going to show today. One is the hotel dashboard. I'm going to open here in another window, in another tab. This is basically, like Tracy mentioned, you can do basic operations of the PMS related operations. If the connection with the PMS were to go down for any reason, you can still do check-in, check-out here in this interface. For any of the rooms, you can when you check in a room, it will ask you for a name. You put it there, and you can do enable or disable do not disturb for those rooms, and even add wake-up calls to those rooms. Manage the wake-up calls. As you can see here, this room has one wake-up call pending, or you can configure here by clicking here, and the class of service assigned. Again, as default, it will get unrestricted whenever checked in and restricted when checked out. And you even have options to do more things like move a guest, check their voicemail. Whenever there's a checkout, the voicemail messages will be archived, and the voicemail box will be empty for the next guest to check in that room. So that's automatically done. Those voicemail messages are automatically managed whenever there's a new guest. You can manage wake-up calls here, manage class of service, allow or disallow room-to-room calls, and do not disturb. So I'm going to go back to the room, so I'll quickly show how to check someone here. You can, let's say, checking John here manually. Again, normally this will be done by the PMS, but this is in an emergency situation where the link to the PMS for some reason went down, and you can enable or disable do not disturb for that extension or that room. Set a wake-up call like this. Basically, just set the time, reoccurring yes or not, and set. And change the class of service as well. So you have all those basic operations here in this dashboard, and you even have reports for wake-up calls. So you can have wake-up calls pendings. You see one tomorrow for 6:30 a.m. for room 102. Reoccurring, yes. So each day it will reoccur at the same time until this is stopped. Reports completed wake-up calls. For example, we have these three entries here in this report. Wake-up call was not answered. Wake-up call was answered. Wake-up call was not answered, for example. Some other reports, notifications. Failure notification call was not answered. Not answered was answered and acknowledged. Like you have to press 1 to acknowledge. So in this case, this person, the extension 2000, I think, was reported and acknowledged that the wake-up call was not answered by room 102. Okay. Okay, so that's basically the, and you can do bulk wake-up management for many rooms at once. If many rooms need a same wake-up call at the same time, you can do that. So basically, that's it for the hotel dashboard. I'm going to go back here to the main interface of ComXchange, and then in reports, the other section we wanted to show you is the call accounting. Again, this is licensed, very competitive licensing, but this basically will give you all the prices that have incurred in outbound PSTN calls. In this example, there's no charge. This is a demo system, but you can generate reports of all the calls that have generated some charge. Posted calls will be calls already sent to the PMS, and posted calls that have not yet been sent to the PMS. And you can have more reports here, like station details, local calls, incoming calls by destinations, chronological report, calls with taxes, daily calls. And even you can create new reports, either from scratch or base yourself from a current existing report. Okay. Report scheduler, basically add an email address with the frequency, the report that you want to receive. Daily calls, let's say daily report. You give it a name and an email destination address. VIP guests. So for example, some rooms, some guests can be VIP, and the rate for their outbound PSTN calls may be different for those special guests. So you can define here any extension that will be VIP. in that regard, you can do, so what are the rates? The rates can be added manually here in admin section. If you put here show more, call pricing, you can manually add the rates, or you can import a VNH file. Basically, you upload it here and import it. It's more convenient, of course, to have all the rates imported that way. Once that is set there, you can do a test call, for example, from extension 101, let's say, the PBX ComXchange, current date, current time. Let's say that person dials this number for how long? Let's say 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And you can easily test the charges that this call would incur in that situation based on the tariffs on the call ratings that you have uploaded or manually input. And you can see here the charge mode is a default guest, but if I remember correctly, 107 is a VIP guest. So let me select him, submit, and you see it will be different. It will be a VIP tier 1 for that. And you can see, you can test beforehand the different calls if the rates have been applied correctly. And going back to admin, you can see the status of the connection with the interfaces, the PBX and the PMS. You can see PBX interface here, PMS interface. These parameters, again, there are many things that by default they should work, but if it needs tweaks, we can do that for you when installing data monitor, call pricing, stations, well, system status I already showed, local numbers, special numbers, and general settings. And that was a call accounting. The next thing we want to show, and Tracy mentioned in the slides, is the integration with our devices. For example, Clearly Devices is a small module under core configuration. You go to Clearly Devices, basically for quickly or auto provisioning ClearlyIP phones. If you go here to the right, you see the models available. You can add different models. You select the model. This mainly will be for admin or staff phones. Could be also for room phones, but for room phones, perhaps you have analog phones already, and then you will integrate them via an FXS gateway. That I'm going to show next. So basically, you define the line keys here, and we have, like mentioned, wake-up calls can be managed not only through the interface I showed or through the PMS, but also directly from the phone sitting in the front desk. So there's a phone app we have created. If you have a ClearlyIP phone, it's called Wake Up, and you can, well, the first key will normally be a line key. Okay, but maybe the second key can be, or whichever key you want to assign can be the Wake Up app. So via the phone screen, you can easily set wake-up calls also that way for the guests. Okay, that's mainly, there are many options that you can configure for integrating your ClearlyIP phones. You can also use third-party phones and even provision them with the endpoint manager, but that will require some licensing. Okay, so going to the gateways, gateway provisioning is another module. This will allow you to quickly and easily integrate or provision ClearlyIP gateways. If there is even a wizard here, so you have many models here. Let's say ClearlyIP 96 ports FXS gateway. You click submit, and then you have some options to assign. So is this extension type? So name, description, enable, disable, of course, MAC address and host name. And here at the bottom, you see FXS port start and port end. So it will automatically generate the configuration for all 96 ports. So name, you can select here admin, but mostly it will be for guest rooms, guest extensions. And when you select admin here, you will pick from this list, okay, extension 2000. Okay, but normally it will be for guest extensions, and this field gets enabled. And let's say this is for the first room, and it will go up automatically to that number. As you can see, it will go cover all the extensions from 101 to 210. Okay, so it's easier, very easy to configure the gateways when they are used for the analog phones in the rooms. So the next thing we wanted to show here in the webinar was this codex that is already included. No licensing needed, like Tracy mentioned. Basically, it's for alarms or alerts whenever there are things to alert massively. So for example, fire alert, hurricane alert, or any other circumstance, you can add a code. They're called codes. Give it a number, so 3030, for example, a description, and there are two modes: check-in or mass notification. Check-in will prompt users to pick up their phone wherever they are and dial a number to report themselves as they are being safe, or dial another number to report themselves as they're being unsafe. That's checking mode. Or mass notify, it will just notify via calls or paging. So you see these two methods here: extensions to page, extensions to call. Mass notify the alarming situation. So for example, let's say page front desk and restaurant, and call the staff manager and general manager in this example. And also call the checked-in guest extensions, not all of them, only the checked-in. It will be ways to call other extensions that are not checked in. Okay, password starts, announcement, pre-recorded, or can be live or both. And if it's pre-recorded, for example, there are system sounds that you can have to previously upload to the PBX for having them here available here. And then you can even send reports via email of this whenever this was executed, and how many persons report themselves as safe or unsafe, and very complete reports on those. So those are, and you can even use UCP, user control panel, for doing this instead of by the phone, managing this visually in the control panel. So let me quickly go there and let me log out here. User control panel. It's logging in. Okay. I think it's a certificate issue. As you saw before, this server has not certificate. Let me try with HTTPS, perhaps. No, let me go back here. Okay, let me go back here, ComXchange, continue. So you can manage codecs, but it's a certificate issue. As you know, this connection does not have a certificate. That's why I couldn't enter the user control panel. But in any case, codecs can be managed via the phone or visually via the user control panel. And one of the last things we wanted to show today in the webinar is regarding failover. So the ComXchange solution can be implemented with a failover, and the failover can even be on the cloud. So it's hosted, it's a hybrid solution, it's hosted and on-prem at the same time. So you have two servers, two instances of ComXchange, and normally the guest room extensions will be registered to the local on-prem device. And the admin or staff extensions will be registered to the cloud. And whenever there will be a situation where you cannot reach the cloud, the internet is down, or any other communication issues, those admin extensions will automatically fail over to the on-prem system, and they will continue working. All the features will continue to work. And the same is true in the normal situation, of course. Even there are two different systems and two sets of extensions are registered to different systems, they can still communicate between each other because there is a connection between both systems. So basically, it's this ComXchange failover. Basically, in this system is disabled, but you will configure this here, and it's automatically syncing the configurations and logs and every recording. Everything is automatically synced between both systems, but you will have that failover option if you want. So you can have completely on-prem solution, completely hosted or cloud solution, or a hybrid with a failover. Failover can be actually just on-prem, not necessarily hybrid, but you can have a hybrid as well. So that's basically it, Tracy, what we wanted to show today.
Thank you, Eduardo.
Let me know if there are questions. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take the screen back now. So thank you, Eduardo. This concludes our presentation on ComXchange today. Before I jump over to the Q&A, I just want to tell everyone about our next event. So partnering with ClearlyIP will be on March 20th, and you can learn how partnering with ClearlyIP can enhance your portfolio and increase your sales. You can go to www.clearlyip.com/events to register or see all of our upcoming webinars and events that we will be attending. Speaking of events, we are going to be at Channel Partners in Las Vegas on March 24th through 27th. So if you're attending, we would love to schedule a meeting with you or have you come and visit our booth. Okay, so thank you for taking the busy time out of your day to learn about ComXchange. Let's see if we have any questions. So, okay, in the Q&A, someone asks if we have a promo video or marketing video that we can send to customers. Unfortunately, we don't have that today, but it is on the roadmap for us to make a video. So we are working on that, and I do not have a date to share of when that will be ready. Let's see. Is Codex included with ComXchange? Yes. Codex is included with ComXchange at no additional cost. And that happened recently. Can we white label ComXchange? No, today we do not white label ComXchange. Okay, so something asking about a live version for hotel management. I'm not quite clear about what that question is. So, we're reaching out to Frank to get a little more clarity. We can talk about that on our call, which is coming up. We saw how to, in this presentation, we saw how to create extensions, DIDs. For us as installers, we will configure the system, but the hotel clerk do not need that. We don't want to give them access to that. So yeah, we do have some interface loaded on. We have interface for the phone to do simple things like wake up calls, but we do not have an end user portal like Frank, if you're thinking about the call panel, we do not have something like that for ComXchange. Some other questions. Does ComXchange hosted include the SIP lines, or do you have to get the SIP trunking separately? So ComXchange hosted can be bundled with our SIP trunks, or you can use a carrier of your choice. But the hosted price as it is does not come bundled. However, we do have bundled pricing as well, where every single user has a SIP trunk. Can you download call history or call traffic reports daily with ComXchange? Yes, call history can be downloaded. It can also be scheduled to be emailed overnight daily. So a lot of hotels prefer that. Can panic buttons go on the phones as an emergency solution? So yes, you don't have to have the physical panic button. It is, some people prefer that because it has a longer cord and it can be very discreet. However, we do have a button that you can program onto the phone directly that is a panic button that works in the same way as the physical panic button. And it doesn't change anything on the phone when you trigger that panic button. It looks as if nothing has happened on the phone, so they don't know. Do you have to purchase software assurance after the first year? So yeah, software insurance is included in the first year, but you are not required to purchase it after year 1. However, if you need support and you need to buy software assurance, you actually have to pay for the time that you missed with a reinstatement fee. So it makes more sense to keep your software assurance up to date. Also, protection from bugs and glitches and fixes. Is the pitch deck for today's presentation available? I can certainly share it with you. Yes. We actually have a co-brandable deck, and I can work on making this deck somewhat co-brandable and maybe more end user facing. So I can definitely provide that. Okay. How can I become a ComXchange partner? Well, reach out to us. There's a partners page on our website, and if you click on partner program, you can fill out the form and we will schedule a call with you to go a little more in depth into our partner program. So that's the last question I have. Are there any more? Any other questions that you have? If there are not any more questions, You can also, if you think of something later, reach out to me directly. My email is tliu@clearlyip.com. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time today. Let me know if you have any questions and feel free to reach out. Thank you.